The containment cell shattered at 2:47 a.m., and Dr. Owen Fletcher was the only person in Lab Section C who didn't reach for a weapon. Glass and reinforced polymer scattered across the floor like dangerous confetti. Alarm lights painted everything red, then blue, then red again. Owen looked up from his microscope where he'd been studying cell samples and saw the creature burst through the broken barrier. CR 447 moved fast, its four legs carrying its bulk toward the emergency airlock with surprising speed. Breach in C-Wing. All personnel evacuate. Security to C-Wing immediately. The automated voice boomed through the speakers. Cold and mechanical, Owen's colleagues ran. Dr. Yenna grabbed her tablet and sprinted for the exit, her webbed feet slapping against the metal floor. Two Vilnari researchers chittered in panic and followed her. Within seconds, Owen stood alone in the lab, while CR 447 cowered near a support beam 20 feet away. The creature was beautiful in a terrifying way. Its body looked like living crystal, with plates that shifted through different colors. Right now, those plates flickered between dark purple and muddy brown. Owen had seen enough animals in his life to recognize one thing. This wasn't aggression. This was fear. Station personnel, this is Security Chief Rathack. Specimen CR 447 has breach containment. The subject is classified as extremely dangerous. Lethal force is authorized. I repeat, lethal force is authorized. Owen's hand hovered over his communicator. He should call in his position. He should evacuate like the protocols demanded. Instead, he looked at CR 447 and saw the way its whole body trembled. The creature had pressed itself against the wall, trying to make itself smaller. The security feeds would show everything. Owen knew that. Cameras covered every inch of the station. Rathack would be watching right now, probably gathering his team, planning the quickest way to eliminate the threat. Owen grabbed his lunchbox from his desk drawer. He'd packed it that morning before his shift, back when he thought he'd have time for a proper meal. Inside sat 3 chocolate chip cookies wrapped in wax paper, a sandwich he'd already eaten, and an apple. "I know you're watching, Rathack," Owen said quietly to the nearest camera. Then he muted his communicator. He walked slowly towards SAR 447, making sure his steps were loud enough to hear, but not threatening. The creature's color plates shifted to bright red. Owen stopped moving and sat down on the floor, right there in the middle of the lab. He placed a lunchbox in front of him and opened it. The cookies smelled like home. Owen had made them the night before, using his grandmother's recipe. Butter, sugar, flour, chocolate chips. Simple things that reminded him of Earth, of the farm where he grew up, of the barn cats that would rub against his legs while he did his chores. He broke off a piece of cookie and held it out, his arm extended but not reaching too far to SAR 447's eyes, all 6 of them arranged in a circle around its head, focused on the offering. The creature's breathing slowed slightly. Owen could see its chest rising and falling, could count each breath. "I'm not going to hurt you," Owen said softly. "I know you're scared. I know this place is wrong, but I'm not like the others." The creature didn't understand his words. Owen knew that, but maybe it could understand his tone, his posture, his patience. Minutes passed. The alarm kept wailing. Owen heard boots in the corridor outside, security teams taking positions. Rathack's voice crackled over the speakers again, demanding updates, calling for tactical positions. Owen stayed still. His arm started to ache from holding it out, but he didn't lower it. SAR 447 took one step forward, then another. Its crystalline plates shifted to yellow, then to a pale green. The creature stretched its neck, sniffing the air. Owen had studied its biology enough to know it could process Earth-based organic compounds. The question was whether it would trust him enough to try. The creature's mouth opened, revealing rows of teeth that could easily tear through Owen's arm. Instead, it gently took the cookie piece between its front teeth and pulled it away. CR 447 moved back to its safe spot against the wall and consumed the cookie in one quick movement. The plates on its body turned bright blue. Owen broke off another piece and held it out. This time, CR 447 approached faster. It took the second piece and retreated again, but only halfway. The muddy brown color faded from his plates completely. Owen Fletcher, this is Security Chief Rathack. Exit the lab immediately. This is a direct order. The security chief's voice came through the speakers, sharp and commanding. Owen looked up at the camera and shook his head. He broke off a third piece of cookie.cr. 447 didn't retreat this time. It took the cookie and sat down, its four legs folding beneath its body. The creature was less than 10 feet away now. Owen could see the scars on its plates, marks from the tests they'd run, burns from chemical exposure, scratches from tissue samples. Evidence of pain. He'd helped cause that pain. The thought made his stomach turn. He'd studied the data, written reports on CR 447's biology, recommended further testing. He'd treated the creature like a thing, a specimen, a puzzle to solve. I'm sorry. Owen whispered, "Sar." 447's plates rippled with soft green light. The creature tilted its head, studying him with those 6 eyes. Owen offered the last piece of cookie. "Sar." 447 took it from his hand, its touch gentle despite those terrible teeth. Then the creature did something unexpected. It moved closer and pressed its crystalline head against Owen's knee. Outside the lab, Owen heard Rathack barking orders. Security teams were preparing to breach. They'd come in with weapons ready, with protocols that ended in CR 447's death. Owen made a choice. He placed his hand on the creature's head, feeling the cool crystal beneath his palm. "We're going to figure this out together," he said. "I promise." The security team burst through the door with weapons raised, but they stopped when they saw Owen sitting calmly with CR 447's head resting in his lap. "Hold your fire," Rathack commanded, his mechanical voice modulator making the words sound flat. The Vilnari security chief stepped forward, his compound eyes reflecting the emergency lights. His exoskeleton gleamed black and orange, and his 4 arms each held a different weapon. "Dr. Fletcher, step away from the specimen." "No," Owen said simply. "That was not a request." "I know." CR 447 lifted its head, and its color plates shifted to warning red. The creature positioned itself between Owen and the security team, its body tense and ready to fight. "You're making this worse," Rathack said. His weapons hummed as they powered up. "The specimen is preparing to attack. I cannot allow that. It's protecting me, not attacking you," Owen replied. He stood up slowly, keeping his hand on CR 447's back. "Look at its posture. Look at its colors. I've been studying this creature for 3 months. Red doesn't mean aggression for its species. Red means fear." Dr. Yenna appeared behind the security team, her large eyes blinking rapidly. "Owen, please. Use logic. You cannot know what the specimen is thinking or feeling. You are projecting human emotions onto an alien life form." "Am I?" Owen pulled out his portable scanner and held it up. "I've been monitoring its biosigns for the past hour. Heart rate, brain activity, hormone levels. Everything points to fear response, not aggression." The creature broke out of containment, Rathack said. "It damaged station property. It poses a risk to all personnel. It was trying to escape torture." The lab went silent except for the alarm. Even the security team shifted uncomfortably. "Torture is a strong word, Dr. Fletcher," Dr. Yenna said carefully. "Is it?" Owen activated his scanner's display, projecting the data for everyone to see. "Look at these records. Chemical burns, tissue removal, electrical stimulation, sleep deprivation, all approved under research protocols, all conducted without any way to determine if CR 447 could understand what was happening or why. Those were necessary tests," Dr. Yenna protested, but her voice lacked conviction. "Necessary for what? We classified this creature as non-sentient based on what? Because it doesn't speak our languages? Because it doesn't build technology we recognize?" Rathack lowered one weapon. "What are you suggesting, Dr. Fletcher?" "I'm suggesting we've made a terrible mistake." Owen knelt beside SR 447 again. The creature's colors had shifted to a worried yellow. "Watch this." He pulled out his tablet and opened a simple communication program. It displayed basic shapes and colors. Owen pointed to a red circle and said, "Danger." He pointed to a green circle and said, safe. He pointed to a blue circle and said, water. Then he held the tablet out to SAR 447. The creature studied the screen for several seconds. Its plates flickered through different colors. Then it reached out with one crystalline claw and touched the blue circle that a message appeared in Owen's earlier notes, something he'd written 3 weeks ago. Day 47. Subject appears dehydrated. Water intake reduced by 30%. Subject resists hydration attempts. CR 447 hasn't been drinking the water we provide. Owen said, I thought it was being stubborn, but what if it was trying to tell us something? He accessed the station's database and pulled up the chemical composition of the water they'd been offering CR 447. Then he compared it to the water samples from Sulfara, the creature's homeworld. The pH is wrong, Owen said, his voice shaking slightly. We've been giving it neutral water, but sulfur water is highly acidic. We've been offering this creature something that's basically poison to its system, and it's been trying to refuse. Dr. Yenna moved closer, her scientific curiosity overriding her caution. That would explain the declining health markers. It would explain a lot of things, Owen agreed. He looked at CR 447. You've been trying to communicate this whole time, haven't you? Through your colors, through your behavior. But we weren't listening. CR 447's plates shifted to a soft purple color. The creature touched the tablet screen again, this time pressing the green circle. It understands the symbol for safe, Rathack observed. His weapons were now pointed at the floor. That implies cognitive reasoning. It implies intelligence. Owen corrected. Maybe even sentience. You cannot determine sentience from one simple test, Dr. Yenna said, but she didn't sound convinced of her own argument anymore. Owen stood and faced the security chief. Give me time. 24 hours. Let me run proper tests. Real communication attempts. If I'm wrong, if CR 447 is just a clever animal, then you can do whatever protocol demands. But if I'm right, we've been holding a sentient being prisoner and torturing it without cause. Rathack's antennae twitched, a sign of deep thought in Vilnari body language. You are asking me to violate direct orders from Station Director Kalas. I'm asking you to make sure we're not committing a war crime. The words hung heavy in the recycled air. War crime. That meant sentient victims. That meant accountability. That meant everything the research station had done to SAR 447 could be prosecuted under galactic law. Rathack was quiet for a long moment. Then he turned to his security team. Lower your weapons. Maintain perimeter guard, but do not engage the specimen unless it attacks. He looked at Owen. You have 12 hours, Dr. Fletcher. Not 24. Director Kalas will override my authority by then. 12 hours is enough, Owen said, hoping he was right. I am doing this because my people were once in CR 447's position, Rathack said quietly. We were studied. We were tested. We were treated as animals until we proved otherwise. I will not be part of that cycle again. The security team filed out, leaving only Dr. Yenna in the lab. I hope you know what you're doing, Owen, she said. So do I, he replied, looking down at CR 447. The creature's plates had turned a hopeful shade of light blue. Owen spent the first hour preparing acidic water, while CR 447 watched him work with all 6 eyes, tracking his movements. He adjusted the pH levels carefully, testing and retesting until the mixture matched sulfur and water composition. When he finally offered a bowl to CR 447, the creature approached cautiously, sniffed the liquid, and then drank deeply. Its color plates blazed with vibrant yellow-green, cycling through the spectrum in what Owen was beginning to recognize as expressions of emotion. That's relief, Owen said, making notes on his tablet. Yellow-green means relief or satisfaction. I'm sure of it now. Dr. Yenna had stayed, partly from scientific curiosity and partly from concern about leaving Owen alone. She sat at a workstation, running her own analysis. The color changes are too consistent to be random. I see the pattern too. It's a language, Owen said. We've been staring at a language this whole time and calling it a threat display. He pulled up his research files, 3 months of data on CR 447. Every interaction, every test, Every response was documented. Owen had been so focused on the biological data that he dismissed the behavioral patterns as simple stimulus-response reactions. Now he looked at those patterns with new eyes. "Look at this," he said, projecting his files onto the main screen. Day 12. We ran a cognitive test using food rewards. CR 447 solved the puzzle in under 2 minutes. Day 15. We increased complexity. It solved that in 4 minutes. Day 23. We added a visual memory component. It scored better than 87% of known sentient species. We attributed that to instinct, Dr. Yinna said quietly. Natural problem-solving ability, like a bird building a nest. We wanted it to be instinct because that made it easier to continue testing. Owen said, the weight of his own guilt heavy in his chest. I wrote those reports, Yinna. I'm the one who recommended we increase the invasive procedures because the subject was adapting too well to standard tests. CR 447 moved closer to Owen and made a soft sound, something between a hum and a whistle. Its plates turned pale blue. Owen reached into his bag and pulled out the container he'd brought from his quarters. Inside were more cookies, baked fresh that evening. He offered one to CR 447, who took it gently. You like these, don't you? Owen said, not just because they taste good, but because there's something kind, something that doesn't hurt. The creature consumed the cookie and then did something that made Owen's breath catch. It touched its own chest with one crystalline claw, then touched Owen's chest, then pointed to the cookie container. Did it just? Dr. Yinna leaned forward, her eyes wide. It made a connection, Owen said. His hand was shaking as he grabbed his tablet. It associated me with the cookies. It's showing understanding of cause and effect, of relationships between entities. He pulled up the communication program again and added new symbols. He showed CR 447 a stick figure labeled Owen and another shape that he tried to make look like the creature. CR 447 studied the screen intently. Then it touched its own image and its plates flashed through a complex sequence. Red, blue, purple, green, yellow. Owen recorded the sequence and played it back. That's a name. You just told me your name. He tried to recreate the color pattern with his tablet's display, cycling through the colors in the same order. CR 447's plates brightened, and it made that humming, whistling sound again, louder this time. Confirmation, Dr. Yinna whispered. It confirmed you got it right. Owen felt tears forming in his eyes. I'm so sorry, he said to CR 447. We should have known. We should have tried harder to understand. The creature moved closer and pressed its head against Owen's shoulder. The gesture was so clearly an attempt at comfort that even Dr. Yinna made a small sound of surprise. For the next several hours, Owen worked on building a basic translation system. CR 447 proved to be a willing and patient teacher. It would display color patterns, then point to objects or actions to show their meaning. Owen created a growing dictionary of color sequences. Red-green meant water. Purple-yellow meant food. Blue-blue-red meant pain. That last one appeared in CR 447's patterns whenever Owen's notes referenced certain tests. We tortured a person, Dr. Yinna said, her voice hollow. All this time, we tortured a person. We didn't know, Owen said, but the words felt like ash in his mouth. We didn't ask, Dr. Yinna corrected. That's different. The lab door opened and Rat Hack entered. Your time is nearly up, Dr. Fletcher. Director Kalas is demanding a full report and the immediate termination of CR 447. I need more time, Owen said. We've made incredible progress, but I can give you no more time, Rat Hack interrupted. However, I can give you an audience. Director Kalas has agreed to review your evidence before making a final decision. When? 1 hour. In the main conference room. All senior staff will attend. Rat Hack paused. I suggest you prepare your most compelling argument. Kalas does not change his mind easily. After Rat Hack left, Owen turned to CR 447. The creature's plates were dark brown again, that fearful, worried color. I'm going to fight for you, Owen promised. I'm going to make them understand. CR 447 touched the tablet screen and carefully selected symbols. The stick figure labeled Owen then the green circle for safe, then its own image. "You trust me," Owen said, understanding the message. The creature's plates turned the brightest blue Owen had ever seen, and he knew that blue meant hope. Owen gathered his data, his evidence, and his courage. In 1 hour, he would stand before the station's leadership and argue that they had been wrong, that their protocols were flawed, that their assumptions about intelligence had led them to commit atrocities in 1 hour, he would fight to save a life. He just hoped his words would be enough. The conference room, filled with species from across the galaxy, each one representing a different approach to science and research. Director Kalas sat at the head of the table, his three-eyed Tremoni face expressionless and unreadable. Owen stood at the presentation podium with his tablet and his evidence. CR 447 waited in the lab under guard, its fate resting on the next 30 minutes. "You have requested this emergency session, Dr. Fletcher," Kalas said, his voice carrying the slight echo common to telepathic species. "Make your case." Owen activated the main display screen. 3 months ago, we captured specimen CR 447 from Sulfara. We classified it as non-sentient based on preliminary scans and the absence of technology. Today, I'm here to prove that classification was wrong. He showed the first video, CR 447 solving the cognitive puzzles. Then the data from its brain scans, showing neural activity patterns that matched known sentient species. Then the communication breakthrough, the color language, the deliberate attempts at interaction. "This creature has a language," Owen said. "It has demonstrated problem-solving abilities, emotional responses, and abstract thinking. It understands symbols. It forms attachments. It experiences pain and fear and hope." Dr. Yenna stood from her seat. "I wish to add my testimony to Dr. Fletcher's evidence. I have reviewed his findings and conducted my own analysis. The data is conclusive. CR 447 meets every standard criterion for sentience." Murmurs spread through the assembled researchers. Kalas raised one hand for silence. "These are interesting observations, Dr. Fletcher, but they do not constitute proof of sentience. Many non-sentient species display complex behaviors. Earth's own dolphins and crows demonstrate remarkable intelligence without being classified as sentient beings. Dolphins and crows can't learn a new language in 6 hours," Owen countered. He showed the next video, the one he'd recorded just before the meeting. CR 447 selecting symbols to form basic sentences. "Watch." The video played. CR 447 touched symbols. Owen. "Friend. Help. Home." The room went quiet. "It's asking to go home," Owen said. "That's not instinct. That's not behavior training. That's a conscious being expressing desire and making requests." A collision researcher named Dren spoke up. "Even if we accept that CR 447 is sentient, we must consider the research value. The knowledge we could gain from studying a crystalline-based life form could advance our understanding of studying." Owen interrupted, his voice sharp. "You mean torturing? Because that's what we've been doing. We've been torturing a sentient being." "Strong words, Dr. Fletcher," Kalas warned. "Accurate words." Owen pulled up the test logs, the ones that detailed every procedure. Chemical burns, tissue removal without anesthetic, sleep deprivation, isolation. These aren't research protocols. These are war crimes. Rathack stood, his exoskeleton clicking as he moved. "I support Dr. Fletcher's assessment. My people suffered similar treatment before our sentience was recognized. The Vilnari were captured, tested, and experimented upon because we did not communicate in ways other species expected. Many died before we were granted rights. I will not allow history to repeat itself on this station." "Security Chief Rathack, you overstep your authority," Kalas said coldly. "No, Director. I execute my authority. Galactic law is clear. If CR 447 is sentient, every test we have conducted is illegal. Every researcher involved is liable for prosecution, including you." The room erupted in arguments. Some researchers defended their work. Others demanded immediate release of CR 447. Dr. Yenna tried to call for order, but her voice was lost in the chaos. Owen watched it all with growing despair. They were arguing about laws and liability, about research and reputation. Nobody except Rat Hack was talking about SAR 447 as a person, as a being who deserved freedom, that he made a decision. Owen walked out of the conference room, ignoring Kalas's order to return. He went straight to the lab where SAR 447 waited under guard. The two security officers looked uncertain when Owen approached. "Let me through," Owen said. "We have orders to. I know what your orders are. I'm giving you a choice. Follow those orders and be part of crime, or step aside and be part of something better." The guards looked at each other. Then, slowly, they moved aside. Owen entered the lab and went directly to SAR 447. The creature's plates were dark, almost black with fear. "I'm getting you out of here," Owen said. He grabbed his tablet and accessed the station systems. His security clearance was still active. He could open doors, disable alarms, access emergency protocols. SAR 447's plates shifted to confused orange. "I know this isn't perfect," Owen said as he worked. "I know there will be consequences, but I can't let them hurt you anymore." "I won't." The lab door opened again. Owen spun around, expecting security, expecting Kalas. Instead, Dr. Yenna entered, followed by Rat Hack, followed by 12 other researchers. "You're not doing this alone," Dr. Yenna said. "We took a vote," Rat Hack added. Junior staff, senior researchers, everyone who wasn't in that conference room. The results were unanimous. SAR 447 should be released immediately. Owen felt his throat tighten. "Kalas will never allow it." "Kalas is one person," Dr. Yenna said. "We are many, and we have the law on our side. Galactic rights legislation is clear. When sentience is in question, the benefit of doubt goes to the potentially sentient being. We invoke that law now." "You're risking your careers," Owen said. "We're saving our souls," one of the other researchers replied. Rat Hack stepped forward and placed one of his 4 hands on Owen's shoulder. Sometimes the right thing and the legal thing do not align immediately. But eventually, the law catches up to morality. We will make it catch up faster. SAR 447 moved to the center of the group, its plates cycling through colors. Owen watched the pattern and consulted his translation notes. "It's saying thank you," he whispered. "To all of us." The doors burst open. Kalas entered with station security, his face dark with anger. "You are all in violation of direct orders," he said. "We are all in compliance with galactic law," Rat Hack countered. "And we have already transmitted our findings to the Galactic Council. They are reviewing the case as we speak." Kalas's 3 eyes widened. "You went over my head." "We went to the proper authorities," Dr. Yenna said calmly. "SAR 447's sentience evaluation is now under independent review. Until that review is complete, all testing is suspended and the subject is to be treated as a potentially sentient being with full rights." For a long moment, nobody moved. Then Kalas turned and walked away, his defeat clear in every step. Owen looked down at SAR 447, whose plates now glowed with that brilliant, hopeful blue. "You're safe now," he said. "I promise." 3 weeks passed while the Galactic Council reviewed the evidence. Owen spent every day with SAR 447, building vocabulary, learning the nuances of color speech, and discovering the depth of intelligence that had been hidden beneath assumptions and protocol. The creature's name, when properly translated, meant something close to "light that dances in deep places." Owen shortened it to Dancer, and the creature's plates glowed approval of the nickname. Each morning, Owen brought cookies. Each afternoon, he and Dancer worked on communication. Each evening, they sat together while Owen talked about Earth and Dancer painted color stories about Sulfara. Owen learned that Dancer came from a vast underground network of crystal caves where Dancer's people lived in family groups of 20 to 30 individuals. They sang to each other in color, creating symphonies of light that told stories, shared knowledge, and expressed emotions too complex for simple words. Dancer had been gathering minerals near the surface when the research team captured it. The creature had no context for what was happening, no understanding of why it had been taken from home. It thought perhaps it had violated some unknown law, that the tests were punishment for a crime it couldn't remember committing. You did nothing wrong. Owen told Dancer for the 100th time. We did. We were wrong. Dancer's plates shifted through a pattern that Owen now recognized as forgiveness. Doctor Yenna visited daily, bringing new research that didn't involve pain or violation. She and Dancer developed their own friendship, built on mutual respect and careful communication. She brought mineral samples from different worlds, and Dancer would taste them, then paint elaborate color descriptions of their composition. Yenna realized that Dancer could detect chemical structures through taste with more accuracy than most of the station's scanning equipment. This isn't just intelligence, Yenna said one afternoon, watching Dancer identify trace elements in a complex mineral sample. This is genius. Dancer's people must have an entirely different branch of science based on direct chemical sensing. Imagine what we could learn if we approached it correctly, Owen said. As partners, not as test subjects. Rat became a regular visitor too. The security chief would sit with Owen and Dancer during his off hours, telling stories about his own people's history. The Vilnari had been enslaved for 3 generations before they were recognized as sentient. Rat grandmother had survived the research facilities. She would have liked Dancer, Rat said quietly one evening. She always said the measure of a species wasn't their technology, but their capacity for hope despite suffering. Dancer created a special color pattern for Rat, one that meant warrior who protects the helpless. Rat wore a recording of that pattern on his uniform from that day forward. The response from the Galactic Council arrived on a Tuesday morning. Owen was teaching Dancer about Earth's oceans when a message came through. Every researcher on the station gathered in the main conference room for the announcement. Judge Perrin's face appeared on the screen, her policy features neutral and professional. After extensive review of the evidence provided by Research Station Helix 7, this council has reached a unanimous decision. The entity designated CR 447, known as Dancer, is hereby recognized as a fully sentient being with all rights and protections under galactic law. Cheers erupted from the assembled researchers. Owen felt Dancer's crystalline head press against his leg, the creature's plates cycling through every color of joy. Furthermore, Judge Perrin continued, and the room quieted. This council finds that Research Station Helix 7 violated galactic rights legislation through its treatment of Dancer. All personnel directly involved in invasive testing will face disciplinary review. Director Kalas has been removed from his position effective immediately. The judge's expression softened slightly. However, we also recognize the actions of Dr. Owen Fletcher, Dr. Yenna, Security Chief Rat, and their colleagues who fought to correct this injustice. Their intervention prevented further harm and demonstrated the best qualities of scientific inquiry, the courage to admit error and the commitment to truth over convenience. The screen shifted to show a new directive. All research stations are ordered to review their specimen classifications within the next galactic standard year. Any entity demonstrating potential sentience must be evaluated using new protocols, which will be developed with input from species who have survived similar mistreatment. Owen barely heard the rest of the announcement. He was too focused on Dancer, whose plates were creating patterns Owen had never seen before. Complex, beautiful, overwhelming patterns that spoke of gratitude and relief and something that might have been love. After the announcement, Rat approached Owen with official documents. Dancer has been granted full rights, including the right to return home. A transport ship can be arranged within the week. Dancer's plates shifted to that deep, worried brown. What's wrong? Owen asked. Dancer moved to the communication tablet and carefully selected symbols. Owen, cool me. Home. With. Dancer. Owen's heart clenched. You want me to go with you to Sulfara? Dancer's plates blazed brilliant blue. Yes. Absolutely yes. Owen looked at Dr. Yenna, at Rat, at the life he'd built on the station. Then he looked at Dancer and saw a person who had suffered because people like him had chosen career over conscience, convenience over compassion. I have accumulated leave time, Owen said slowly. Quite a lot of it, actually. 3 months and 4 days. Rat Hat confirmed, pulling up Owen's personnel file. You have not taken a vacation in 2 years. Dr. Yenna smiled, her large eyes glistening. Go, Owen. Learn from dancers, people. Come back and teach us how to do better. You will be the first human to visit Sulfara, Rat Hack added. The first to study crystalline-based life with their consent and cooperation. Think of what you could learn. Think of what we all could learn. Owen knelt beside Dancer. Would your family accept me? A stranger from the species that hurt you. Dancer's response was immediate and clear, a color pattern that Owen's translation software rendered as, you who brought kindness when others brought pain. Family accepts. Family welcomes. Family celebrates. Owen made his decision. Then I would be honored to visit your home. Dancer's plates created a symphony of color, and Owen knew he'd just made the most important choice of his life. The transport ship descended through Sulfara's thick atmosphere, and Owen got his first real look at Dancer's homeworld. Acid rain streaked the viewports, and volcanic vents painted the horizon in shades of orange and red. To most species, this world would look like hell. To Owen, it looked like a chance for redemption. Dancer pressed against the viewport, plates cycling through colors so fast Owen's translator couldn't keep up. The creature was excited, nervous, and hopeful all at once. Almost home, Owen said quietly. The ship landed near a massive cave system, one of thousands that dotted Sulfara's surface. The pilot, a cautious Tremoni named Reed, checked his instruments 3 times before opening the cargo door. The atmospheric suit will protect you for 6 hours, Reed told Owen. After that, the acid will start to degrade the seals. Do not exceed that time limit. Understood, Owen said, though he had no intention of leaving before Dancer was ready. The moment the door opened, Dancer bounded out onto the crystalline surface of Sulfara. The creature's plates exploded with color, creating patterns so brilliant and complex that Owen had to look away. It was like watching someone scream with joy in a language made of light. Then, from the cave entrance, others emerged. 20, 30, maybe 40 creatures that looked like Dancer, all with their own unique color patterns. They surrounded Dancer, their combined light show creating a symphony that made Owen's translator overload and shut down. It didn't matter. Owen didn't need translation to understand this. This was a family reunion. This was love made visible. One of the larger creatures approached Owen. Its plates were deep purple and silver, marked with age and what Owen guessed were scars from a long life. It studied him with 6 ancient eyes. Owen did the only thing he could think of. He reached into his pack and pulled out a container of cookies, the last batch he'd made before leaving the station. The old creature's plates shifted to curious yellow. It took a cookie delicately and consumed it. For a moment, nothing happened. Then its plates erupted in the same brilliant blue that Dancer used for happiness. The creature touched Owen's chest, then its own, then pointed to Dancer. The meaning was clear even without words. You helped our child. You are welcome here. More creatures approached, and Owen distributed cookies until the container was empty. Each one that tasted the offering reacted with that same joyful blue, and Owen realized he'd accidentally created a greeting ritual. Dancer returned to Owen's side and created a complex color pattern. Owen's translator, back online, rendered it as family invites. Come below. See home. Share songs. I would love that, Owen said. The journey into the caves took his breath away. Crystalline formations glowed with natural bioluminescence, creating a landscape that shifted between beauty and alien strangeness. Dancer's family moved through the tunnels with practiced ease, their plates adding to the ambient light. They descended for what felt like miles, passing through chambers filled with mineral gardens and pools of liquid that bubbled and steamed. Finally, they reached a vast cavern where hundreds of Dancer's people lived in a community that hummed with color communication. Owen was given a space near Dancer's family group, a small alcove with a smooth floor and walls that reflected light like mirrors. He set up his equipment, his samples, his research tools, all the things that had once been used to cause pain, but would now be used to understand and appreciate. Over the following weeks, Owen learned. He learned that Dancer's people called themselves the Prism Singers. He learned their history, their culture, their science. They had no technology as other species understood it because they didn't need it. Their ability to sense and manipulate chemical bonds directly made them living laboratories. They taught Owen their color songs, the complex patterns that conveyed everything from simple greetings to philosophical concepts. He taught them about Earth, about humans, about the diversity of life on a world so different from Sulfara. They taught him their mathematics, based on harmonic light frequencies rather than abstract numbers. He taught them music from Earth, playing recordings on his tablet, and watched in wonder as they translated the sounds into color patterns that captured not just the melody, but the emotion behind it. Most importantly, they taught him how they viewed the universe. Not as a place to conquer or control, but as a symphony to join. Every species, every world, every form of life was a different instrument adding to the greater song of existence. Owen sent regular reports back to Dr. Yenna and the Research Council. His findings revolutionized xenobiology. Other researchers requested permission to visit Sulfara, and the Prism Singers, after careful consideration, agreed to host small groups of scientists who understood that they were guests, not experimenters. 6 months into his stay, Owen received a message from Rat Hack. 23 other specimens from various research stations had been re-evaluated and found sentient. All had been released. New protocols were being established across the galaxy. Protocols that assumed intelligence until proven otherwise, that required consent and communication, that treated first contact as a meeting between equals. You started something important, Rat Hack's message said. The galaxy is changing because you chose cookies over protocol. Owen shared the message with Dancer, whose plates glowed with satisfaction. The creature had become something like an ambassador for its people, teaching visiting researchers and helping them understand the Prism Singer way of life. That on his last evening before returning to the research station, Owen sat with Dancer's family in their favorite chamber. They created a color song together, a new pattern that had never existed before. It combined human concepts and Prism Singer philosophy, a true collaboration between species. Owen's translator rendered the song's meaning as, different lights joining make brighter whole. Kindness crosses all distances. Understanding begins with trying. Dancer pressed its head against Owen's shoulder, and its plates created a private pattern, just for him. Friend who brought cookies and changed everything. Thank you. Come back soon. I will, Owen promised. I'll always come back. As the transport ship lifted off the next day, Owen looked back at Sulfara. What had once seemed like a nightmare world now looked like home, because home wasn't about familiar landscapes. Home was about being welcomed. Home was about connection. He had a container of fresh cookies in his pack, ready for his return to the station. After all, he learned that sometimes the most powerful tool for bridging the gap between species wasn't advanced technology or complex protocols. Sometimes all you needed was something sweet, offered with genuine kindness, and the courage to see a person where others saw only a specimen.